Hi, and welcome to Spite Incorporated with your host, Nace Flaw. We are slowly, very slowly getting more and more professional here. Now, I'm not going to put a music bed on this, as I once said I wished there would be, because I still wish I could put a music bed on here. But the music bed is dead, I'm told. But intros are still awesome, I think, I hope. You tell me if it sucks. But yeah, slowly getting more professional. Today I spent a lot of time dealing with websites, because for a while there I was trying to condense all my projects into one, and it does not work. You know, there's the music, there's the writing, there's Philly GI, there's the now pretty much dead Citation Needed, dead for now at least. And these things, I mean, some of them have an overlap, but they don't necessarily fit all together. And they also have different draws. So, like, Philly GI, I think I was kind of hoping that more people would show up and try to transition to Black Ring and the music there, because, of course, Philly GI is all about goth industrial in the Philly region. Black Ring is a EBM industrial band in the Philly region. But there's two things there that I think stop these projects from mingling more. One is Black Ring is not producing, and that's really what brings people in. I talk to a lot of people every day about social media and websites and things like that, and they really think that, like, there's a huge draw in using domains. Like, you have to have your business type, your location, your name, everything. It has to be in the domain. And I gotta tell you, the domain is not that important. It's just, I mean, does it play a part? Yes. But it plays a bigger part if it's memorable. You know, like, Pepsi is Pepsi.com. It's not Pepsi Cola, I don't know where they're based. Pepsi, let's say Sarasota. Pepsi Cola, Sarasota, fun to drink.com. No, it's just Pepsi. Real simple. Now, that's a huge brand. But, of course, they have Pepsi.com. Now, what's stopping you? If you have a unique name or a unique brand, why not do it? There are limits. I mean, there are certain names that are just a little too complicated to type out, even if they're short. If you have to explain anything, like, I regret that my domain is black-ring.net. I always have to say the dash, because black-ring.net, that sounds even worse. So I always discourage people from using dashes in their domain names. It's one of the few punctuations that you can put in a domain name, and it's terrible. I mean, if you're really in a bind, or if you're using it as part of a kind of a tracking, lead tracking technique, that's fine. Go ahead. But those things you wouldn't be promoting. You wouldn't be saying them. They would be part of a search engine marketing campaign, or a print ad of some sort. But you wouldn't be saying them out loud. People wouldn't have to remember them. The link would be right there. So be choosy with your domain names. Now, if you have a fairly common name, then maybe you want to put the profession, or you want to put the location. But make sure the location isn't that long. Lawyers, I'm sure, have a very tough time with this, because there are just so many law firms out there. That's why some search engine solution companies will refuse to even work with lawyers, because it's just ridiculous. There's no point. And there are just so many names. And then, of course, you add a partner. You lose a partner. What do you do after that? It's sometimes better to just have one group name. Like, whoever started it initially, you're just the Nace Flaw agency, and so it's not, you can be a partner, you can be whatever you like, but you're never going to have to worry about, well, now we have Paul Simon, and now we have to add him to the URL. Like, it's just a waste. because then you have to, if you've had one domain for years, well, now you have to start from scratch with a new one. Not worth it. I don't even know how I started with domains, but locations. You don't have to have all of that. Wow, I really lost track here. I'm sorry. This is my first night alone in a while. This is the first night that my wife has school. She went back to school today. It's the first time in 9 years, I think, since she's been enrolled in a university or a college of some sort. And now she's working toward her third degree. God bless her, but me, I prefer just working, trying to go that way, and she has one night class, so Wednesday nights, it's my night to really shine, I guess. But tonight I don't feel like it. It's my first night, so I don't know. I sat in front of the TV for like half an hour, eating all the chips in the house and watching Steve Harvey on Family Feud. I should be writing. I'm doing this, which I feel is a form of productivity. But I need, because you always have to produce. I think that's where I was going with the whole domains. People think that it's a big deal with what is in the domain, but they don't think about the content. When your content is really key, and I mean that in some really corny ways too. It's very important, but it's also very important that you have keywords. So I dealt with one customer who they have multiple forwards. They have multiple domains forwarding to one location. So they're using GoDaddy, and they're trying to use keywords, etc., to pull in particular locations, but then they're all going to the same content. It's like, well, why not just have one website and you say you deal with these locations? Makes it very simple, and you don't have to have these weird, complicated network of forwards, and which the GoDaddy forwards, they are framed forwards. For those that didn't know, if you have anything forwarding with masking, specifically, if you have it with masking, so I have phillygoth.net forwarding to black-ring.net/phillygoth. Now, I don't have it with masking. If I had it with masking, it would always say phillygoth.net. There's a downside with this. Yes, it looks nice. Yes, people can bookmark the phillygoth.net as opposed to the longer URL. However, if you want any mobile device to check it out, it looks terrible because there's that frame, which it won't. If it's a WordPress site that's optimized, for instance, for mobile devices, which, I mean, mobile devices on a WordPress site, it's usually pretty simple. It looks basic, but that's all you really need for a cell phone. I mean, you just want kind of your bullet points, because that's, if people are looking for you on their cell phone, you probably have some kind of service that they need immediately. Most people aren't just like looking for a band or something, and if they are, they're not looking for a website. They're looking for you on YouTube, which again has its own app, has its own mobile version. But if you have this frame, it makes everything much more cumbersome and look kind of clunky, because part of it knows that it's a frame and part of it doesn't, and part of it knows that it's a mobile device. It's all a huge mess. So keep that in mind when you're making a GoDaddy forward. There are others that I've heard of. I've never dealt directly. Network Solutions, I believe, or maybe it's Register.com. They'll forward things. They call it a premium forward, which you can't do it from your own site. You have to call them up and tell them to do this, and they'll charge you a particular amount of money and still put like a bar on the bottom of the page saying that this is a forward, blah blah blah. That's for people that really don't know how to just set up their own 301 or a meta tag. There are numerous ways to refresh a site. But the content, you got to have good content. If you're a service, you really just have to have the content that really describes what you do, and describes it in layman terms. If it's something complicated, if you fashion things out of steel, I don't need to know all the ins and outs of how you do it. I just need to know that I can call you and get my widget. Can you make widgets? Are you somebody who I can talk to about that? Or do you only sell widgets that are already prefabbed? Do you provide these services? Customers that are looking for a particular service with a particular, like everything is very particular, they are troublesome, and you probably don't want them anyway. Although you can probably charge them more sometimes. That's up to you, really. But when it comes to just kind of writers, musicians, artists in general, you always just want to keep producing. You need to put out product. Because you can't expect that one album that you put out in 97 to keep garnering new fans. That's why live bands do so much better than laptop DJs. Like me, I'm a laptop DJ. I understand this, and I would really have to market myself in some crazy way or produce a lot more. Produce a lot more at a comparable level of quality. And I'm not doing that. That's why people aren't transitioning from Philly Goth to Black Ring, and that's fine. That's fine. I actually really have a bug lately to get back into the music hobby, I guess you can call it, because I never sell stuff, so most of it I put up for free anyway. I'm happy that I got to contribute a song to there's a whole compilation of music out there that all the money goes to cancer research. I'm forgetting the name of the entire thing, but it's somewhere on the Black Ring site, and that's that. I just have an itch to make more music, and actually they're putting out another compilation, which if I rushed, maybe I could have thrown something together for, but my computer system is just not in that great a state. This thing overheats and restarts all the time. It's fairly annoying. I have broken and kind of half-assed replaced with free things so much stuff in it that it's kind of this weird Frankenstein machine that is completely unreliable. And I just need to kind of tear it down, burn the ground, salt it, and start anew. But I just don't have that financial backing at this moment. Who knows? Maybe a couple more editing jobs. That'll be what I go for next. Because last time I got myself a phone. This time, maybe get myself a nice laptop. I want portability. Definitely want portability. If I kind of wish that I could replace my Kindle Fire with Kindle Fire HD and use Blu-ray. Bluetooth keyboard. That would be nice. But I don't think that's kind of a childish thing to desire, because it really wouldn't hold out in the long run. But yeah, so today I kind of separated projects. Music and writing are still together. I think because for a lot of reasons. I think these casts, I could integrate with music more. Just right now I'm using Spreaker and YouTube and things like that. Again, because I don't want to use this technology that I have. It's faulty. It could break at any moment. And there's just not that much demand at this moment. I would love more listeners. But I'm not really putting any effort to get more in. Right now I'm focusing on other projects, which is kind of a lie because I'm so scatterbrained lately. I don't know where to go. So I don't know. I still have to work on the St. John's Media getting the contracts put together. I still want to write Project Temperance, the next step. I'm kind of stuck, and I know what I have to write. I just haven't sat down and done it. I could blame it on a lot of things, but I think it comes down to I just haven't forced myself to do it. When I was going through Coincidence, I came to this toward the end of it. Like, I did not want to end it. I didn't want to finish it. But I knew what had to be written, and so there was just a switch in my head that, somehow I turned off that I don't even want to call it writer's block. I mean, it was just a block of creativity. And I don't know how to turn it off right now, or maybe I don't want to, which again sounds very childish, but that's me. I at least recognize it's nobody else's fault. I have plenty of time in the day. It's just I guess I'm not organizing myself correctly. I didn't even need to redesign the website, but it kept bugging me. First off, that Philly Goth did not look by itself, so I kept telling everybody, or Philly GI, but I got the domain Philly Goth, which is a step up from trying to point them to a subdomain, and you went there, and it looked, suddenly you were in it. You were in, there's updating events or upcoming events, and there's all the events, but there's really no branding. If you didn't know what you were looking at, there's all these things up at the top, and it was a mix of Citation Needed and Philly GI and Black Ring, and it's like, well, what is it, and why should I care? So now Philly Goth is its own, or Philly GI is its own thing. You go to Philly Goth, yes, it redirects you, but it very clearly is its own project, because that draws in the most attention. It has as I said in a recent blog post, I think, it has the most adamant fans or followers, people that will react, people that will retweet, which those are really quality followers, and you want to treat them well. You want to give them a decent product. You want to give everyone a decent product, but you want to make sure that the people that will talk about you positively are being satisfied. So I did that for them. Now, if you're looking for events or cool places to go to in Philadelphia region, you can go to this site that I think looks pretty decent. And it's odd because both sites now are very minimalist. I don't know why I went in that direction, but they're minimalist, but it still has a couple colors. Like the last iteration of the site had this, I don't know, it just seemed cartoony, and this seems a little more mature, more art flick, French art flick, except no crying clowns or people flipping pancakes and sobbing under the table. But I don't know. I had to put something on celluloid, to use a very old term. I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of this evening by going out and getting some junk food, which of course the wife would never let me do on a Wednesday if she was here. I'm going to enjoy myself some Wawa. Do you even know what a Wawa is? No. Good old Jimmy from Bloodhound Gang, who they're now banned from Russia. But isn't everybody lately? The upcoming Winter Olympics are going to be awesome, just with the sheer amount of people that will be jailed from the experience. But anyway, it's getting late, so if you want to contact me, feel free to shoot me a tweet at @acoincidence, or go to the brand new black-ring.net and check that out. There's a contact form and other links, lots of ways to follow and like what I do. And yeah, until next time, you have yourself a good one. Thanks for listening.